Hello everyone, Rasa with another creepy reading. Sorry for the smile, I'm trying to see if I can beat this story character's mouth. Ow! He wins. Today we're going to be reading Mr. Widemouth. Let's begin. During my childhood, my family was like a drop of water in a vast river, never remaining in one location for long. You could have just used Leaf in the Wind, it would have made as much sense. A drop of water would just combine with all the other water, and you wouldn't even find that water. Whatever. We settled in Rhode Island when I was 8, and we were there, remained, until I went to college in Colorado Springs. Okay, so that term, we were drifting like the water in a vast river, would not work if he was there until he was 8. Most of my memories were rooted in Rhode Island, but there was fragments in the attic of my brain which belonged to various homes we have lived in which I was much younger. So he has a lot of... So he treats his brain like a house, and all of his memories are in the attic. What's in the cellar? All of his porn collection? Most of these memories are unclear and pointless, chasing after another boy in the backyard of the house in North Carolina. Now we're in North Carolina! I thought this was Rhode Island. What? Make up your mind of location. Trying to build a raft to float on a creek behind the apartments we rented in Pennsylvania, and so on. Okay, so he did state it of Rhode Island, but I guess he did move to other places. Okay, I'm a little confused. Maybe this was before 8, so... But there was this one set of memories which remain as clear as glass. That depends. Glass can be foggy. As though they were made just yesterday. I often wondered whether these memories are simply lucid dreams produced by a long sickness I experienced that spring, but in my heart, I know they are real. Like that one lucid dream I had where I spread out wings and float on a flying marshmallow. The wings never worked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a fake dream. Just not even real. We were living in a house just outside the bustling metropolis of New Vineyard, Maine. Population, 634. Kind of small to most places, but I'm not going to judge because I think I live in a small town, and the numbers are lower than that. It was a large structure, especially for a family of 3. There were a number of rooms that I didn't see in the 5 months we resided there. In some way, it was a waste of space. Just like a lot of these creepypasta stories, but I'm pretty sure this one will not be one of them. But it was the only house on the market at the time, at least within the hour commute of my father's place of work. So we were getting some details of what the kid's life was. That's at least decent. The day after my 5th birthday, attended by my parents alone. Okay. Well, at least, so we know now this takes place at the age of 5. Thank you for that. I came down with a fever. The doctor said I had mononucleosis. Ugh, I feel sorry for that. That's bad. Which meant no rough play and more fever for at least another 3 weeks. It was horrible timing to be bedridden. We were in the process of packing our things to move to Pennsylvania. Traveling while being sick, that's even worse. And most of my things were already packed away in boxes, leaving my room barren. So it was just you in a bed all by yourself, bored out of your mind while sick. My brother bought me ginger ale and books several times a day. What, couldn't give me a TV to watch? I wouldn't be able to have enough strength to read a book. And he serves as a function of me being in my primary form of entertainment for the next few weeks. Boredom always loomed just around the corner, waiting to rear its ugly head and compound my misery. Like having constant diarrhea. I don't exactly recall how I met Mr. Widemouth. I think it was about a week after I was diagnosed with mono. My first memory of the small creatures was asking him if he had a name. Okay, I'm a little wondering what's more about this creature. What is it? Kind of a little bit of a parody of of Totoro? He told me to call him Mr. Widemouth because his mouth was wide. Well, how wide was it? In fact, everything about him was large in comparison to his body. His head, his eyes, his crooked ears, but his mouth was by far the largest. That is the weirdest artist rendition of what this creature is supposed to look like. You look kind of like a furby. Okay, so at least now we know we gotta worry about some creepy looking furby with no beak but a wide mouth instead. If those things were scary enough, remove the beak and give it a mouth. There we scare the people, I said as he flipped through one of my books. Mr. Widemouth stopped and gave me a puzzled look. Furby? What's a furby? He asked. So at least he's not up to date of the culture of Furbies. I shrugged. The toy. The little robot with the big eyes. You can pet it and feed it, almost like a real pet. And it can also mimic the swear words that you give to it. Get you in big trouble with your mother. Oh, Mr. Widemouth resumed his activities. You don't need one of those. They aren't the same as having a real friend. Yeah, because they at least give you an opinion about stuff. They don't give you the creepy look in the middle of the night. I remember Mr. Widemouth disappearing every time my mother stopped by to check in on me. So every time a grown-up appears, poof, he disappears in a cloud of smoke. I lay under your bed, he later explained. I don't want your parents to see me because I'm afraid they won't let us play anymore. No, I think the moment they'll see you, they're going to literally try to kill it or shoot you out the window for what the hell you are. We didn't do much during those few days. Mr. Widemouth just looked at my books, fascinated by the stories and pictures they contained. The third or fourth morning after I met him, he greeted me with a large smile on his face. Question, is it more creepier than mine? I have a new game we can play. Widemouth, I'm too sick. You think I can play any game? We'll have to wait until after your mother comes to check on you because she can't see us play it. It's a secret game. I'm an adult! After my mother delivers more books and soda at the unusual time, Mr. Widemouth slipped out from under my bed and tugged my hand. We have to go to the room at the end of the hallway, he said. I objected at first, as my parents had forbidden me to leave my bed without their permission, but Mr. Widemouth persisted until I gave in. I'm an adult! Is this going to end up with a child getting raped? I don't want to know. The room in question had no furniture or wallpaper. Its only distinguishing feature was a window opposite of the doorway. Mr. Widemouth darted across the room, which would have creeped me out because how fast that little furby moves, and gave the window a firm push, flinging it open. So it's that type of window, okay? He then beckoned me to look out the ground below. How many stories is this building? 1, 2, no clue. We were on the second story of the house. I hate when I don't read and they give me the answer I want to know. But it was on a hill, and from this angle, the drop was farther than 2 stories due to the incline. It was like playing pretend up here. Mr. Widemouth explained. I pretend that there is a big, soft trampoline below the window, and I jump. Yeah, I may pretend, but a freaking trampoline's not going to appear out of nowhere. I ain't jumping. If you pretend hard enough, you'll bounce back up like a feather. You try it out first. I'll go second. I want you to try. But still, Widemouth, you jump first. I'll jump second. I was 5 years old with a fever, so the only hint of skepticism darted through my thoughts as I looked down and considered the possibility. It's a long drop, I said. But that's all part of the fun. It wouldn't be as fun if it was only a short drop. I'm still going to lose my legs if I jump. Why don't you go first? If it were that, you may as well just bounce on a real trampoline. Fine. Bring in a real trampoline and I'll jump on that one in this room. I ain't jumping out no bloody window. I toyed with the idea, pictured myself falling through thin air only to be bounced back to the window on something unseen by human eyes. Yeah, Mr. Widemouth's body, because I'm going to jump off his ass. But the realism of me prevailed. Maybe some other time, I said. I don't know if I have enough imagination. I can get hurt. So our character's not an idiot. Thank you. Mr. Widemouth's face contorted into a snarl, but only for a moment. So, you want me to kill myself? I'm throwing you out the window! Well, I wish he would throw him out the window. Anger gave way to disappointment. If you say so, he said. He spent the rest of the day under my bed, quiet as a mouse. The following morning, Mr. Widemouth arrived holding a small box. I want to teach you how to juggle, he said. Here are some things you could use to practice before I start giving you lessons. Okay, that's something interesting. It's not going to be deadly. Okay. I looked in the box. It was full of knives. Never mind! My parents will kill me, I shouted, horrified that Mr. Widemouth has brought the knives into my room. Objects that my parents will never allow me to touch. Bull crap, my parents let me touch knives. I'll be spanked and grounded for a year. Holy crap, they do spankings at this time? Sorry, it's just nowadays a spanking you'll be on the 6 o'clock news. Mr. Widemouth frowned. It's fun to juggle with these. I want you to try it. Can I just get the juggling clubs instead? At least there I won't lose my frickin' hand or cut myself. I pushed the box away. I can't. I'll get in trouble. These knives aren't safe to just throw in the air. And I admit, this kid is bloody smart. Mr. Widemouth's frown deepened into a scowl. He took the box of knives and slid under my bed, remaining there for the rest of the day. I began to wonder how often he was under me. I'm sorry, but that line does not help in anything I'm thinking what Mr. Widemouth may do. I started having trouble sleeping after that. Mr. Widemouth often woke me up at night, saying he put a real trampoline under the window, a big one, that I couldn't see in the dark. I always declined and tried to go back to sleep. Really, dude? Okay, I would wake up, get a flashlight, look down, click. Don't see one, you're about to fly out the window if you wake me up one more time. Then go back to sleep. But Mr. Widemouth persists. Something he stayed by my side until early in the morning, encouraging me to jump. How about if I just jump on my bed? Would that make you happy? He wasn't so fun to play with anymore. No, Div, he's trying to kill you. At least it's better than what I was thinking he was going to do to you. My mother came to me one morning and told me I had her permission to walk around outside. She thought the fresh air would be good for me, especially after being confined to my room for so long. So he's feeling a little better enough to walk around, but still a little sick. Ecstatic, I put on my sneakers and trotted out the back porch, yearning for the feeling of the sun in my face. Sorry. Mr. Widemouth was waiting for me. I have something I want you to see. Yeah, the neighbors are going to be seeing the little walking furby. I must have given him a weird look, because he then said, It's safe, I promise. I don't trust you. You wanted me to fly out of a window and juggle knives. I followed him to the beginning of the deer trail which ran through the woods behind my house. Okay, so it's a decent house if it had some woods nearby. There's an important path, he explained. I had a lot of friends about your age. When they were ready, I took them down this path to a special place. You aren't ready yet, but one day I hope to take you there. I need the dawn again! I returned to the house, wondering what kind of place lay beyond this trail. 2 weeks after I met Mr. Widemouth, the last load of our things had been packed into the moving truck. I would have been in a cab of that truck, sitting next to my father for a long drive to Pennsylvania. And he's away from that little Furby knockoff. I considered telling Mr. Widemouth that I would be leaving, but even at 5 years old, I was beginning to suspect that perhaps the creature's intentions were not up to my benefits. Okay, this is a really smart kid if he knows this stuff. Despite what he said otherwise, for this reason, I decided to keep my departure a secret. Yeah, or else it's going to do a style of a gremlin and take apart the truck and kill you. My father and I were in the truck at 4 a.m. He was hoping to make it to Pennsylvania by lunchtime tomorrow with the help of the endless supply of coffee and 6-pack of energy drinks. What year is this so energy drinks are being noticed? I'm sorry, I'm questioning. He seemed to be more like a man who was about to run a marathon rather than the one who was about to spend 2 days sitting still. With that much coffee and energy drinks, I'm surprised you don't use him to carry stuff around. Early enough for you, he asked. I nodded and placed my head against the window, hoping for some sleep before the sun came up. I felt my father's hand on my shoulder. This was the last move, son, I promise. I know it's hard for you, as sick as you've been. Once Daddy gets promoted, we can settle down and you can make friends. I wish we could understand what his dad's job is. From what we get, his dad is a nice man, and along with his mother, who do care about their child, but they're constantly moving, so at least it shows that they are nice. The only one we can't trust is that little Furby knockoff. Opened my eyes as we backed out of the driveway. I saw Mr. Widemouth silhouette in my bedroom window. He stood motionless until the truck was about to turn onto the main road. He gave a pitiful little wave goodbye, steak knife in hand. I didn't wave back. No, I would have said, Dad, there's some Furby with a knife! Years later, I returned to New Vineyard. The piece of land our house stood was empty except for the foundation, as the house burned down a few years after my family left. Out of curiosity, I followed the deer trail that Mr. Widemouth had showed me. Okay, so years later, he comes back and he soon discovers that the house burned down after he left. So either Mr. Widemouth got so angry he lit the house on fire, or the people who came in after him got scared, lit the house on fire, and left. Because, yeah, after I see that Furby thing, burn it to the ground! Part of me expected him to jump out of behind the tree and scare the living bejesus out of me. And then the other part of me would have said if he did that, I would kick him like a football. But I felt that Mr. Widemouth was gone, somehow tied to the house that no longer exists. So he's a poltergeist? The trail ended at a New Vineyard Memorial Cemetery. I noticed that many of the tombstones belonged to children. Okay. I give this story a creepy meter. It's decently high. So the creature, a Furby with a wide mouth instead of a beak, basically trying to play the nice guy while at the same time scaring the kid into trying to commit suicide. Well, it's better than what I was thinking that thing was going to do. And using a Furby as the reference can creep people out because Furbies did scare a lot of people back in the 90s for how they always looked. Especially when they turn on in the middle of the night. Oh, my brother can tell you stories that scared him about Furbies. But yeah, so he does more than just take them down. He said he'll take them to the graveyard after juggling or jumping out the window. So he does something with the souls. That's kind of a little scary. I give points that the character was smart enough to get through, so deal with all of Mr. Widemouth. His parents are nice for what he gives us. And all I could give this one is an Olive Garden. It has a great story complex, and the thing is, the creature is not trying to kill you. It is making you kill yourself. All I can say is, Rasa is signing out with a big smile on his face, and hopefully no Furby behind me.